Norway has a radar so powerful that Russian officials call it a direct threat to their national security. Most people in Norway have heard the name Globus III, but almost no one outside the intelligence community truly understands what this thing actually does. Today, I'm going to take you inside one of the most secretive and strategically important military installations in the entire NATO alliance. Welcome to Vardø, a small windswept island at the very northeastern tip of Norway. This is where Europe literally ends and the Arctic begins. And right here, on top of a mountain called Vardø, stands a giant white radar dome that looks almost like a giant golf ball. But this is no golf ball. This is Globus III. Let me paint the picture for you. It's minus 15 degrees Celsius, snow is blowing sideways, the wind is howling at 25 meters per second. And inside that dome is technology so advanced that it can track an object the size of a basketball from over 3,000 kilometers away. Yes, you heard that right. A basketball-sized object at 3,000 kilometers in real time. Globus III is a phased array radar system jointly developed and funded by Norway and the United States. Officially, it's a Norwegian radar operated by the Norwegian Intelligence Service. In reality, it's one of the most important American eyes in the high north. The United States has invested hundreds of millions of dollars into this system over the years. Why? Because without it, NATO would be half blind when it comes to what Russia is doing in the Arctic and the Barents Sea. Let's talk about what it actually sees. It tracks Russian missile tests from the moment they leave the launcher on the Kola Peninsula. It follows nuclear submarines moving under the ice cap. It monitors hypersonic weapons, new satellite deployments, and even aircraft movements deep inside Russian territory. In simple terms, Russia cannot do anything major in the north without Globus III knowing about it almost instantly. And the Russians hate it. In the last few years, Russian state media and high-ranking officials have called Globus III everything from a provocative system to a direct threat to strategic stability. They have even threatened to take countermeasures. Why are they so angry? Because for decades, they could operate with a certain level of secrecy in the Arctic. Now that secrecy is gone. This radar, together with other Norwegian and American sensors in the region, has completely changed the game for Russian submarine operations. The Northern Fleet used to be able to slip out into the Atlantic with much less risk. Today, it's a lot harder. And that matters, because if there ever is a major conflict between NATO and Russia, control of the GIUK gap, that narrow stretch of ocean between Greenland, Iceland, and the UK, will be one of the most important battles of the entire war. Norway sits right at the entrance to that gap, and Globus III is one of the main reasons we still control it. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Vardø is only about 50 kilometers from the Russian border. This radar is literally within striking distance of Russian forces. In a crisis, it would be one of the very first targets Russia would want to neutralize, either with missiles, cyber attacks, or special forces. So the big question that keeps defense planners awake at night is this. What happens if Globus III suddenly goes dark? What if Russia manages to take it out in the first hours of a conflict? How blind would NATO become in the Arctic? And how quickly could Norway and the United States replace that capability? These are not hypothetical questions anymore. This is the reality of 2026. Globus III is much more than just a radar. It is one of the hidden reasons why NATO still has the upper hand in the high north. It is Norway's silent contribution to the alliance, a contribution that very few Norwegians actually understand the importance of. So next time you hear someone say, Norway is just a small country in the north, remember this white dome on a mountain in Vardø. Because that dome might be one of the most important pieces of real estate in the entire Arctic. And the question we all should be asking ourselves is, are we protecting it well enough? Are we ready for the day when someone actually tries to take it out? That's what we're going to talk more about in the next videos. If you want me to go deeper into how Globus III actually works technically, or what Russia's real plans for the Arctic are, just drop a comment below and I'll make a follow-up. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more unfiltered strategic insights from the North. And remember, the Nordics must wake up. See you in the next one.